Alright, what is going on, gamers? You are watching Alarians, we are back in Explorer, and this has been the scourge of the format since Lost Caverns of Ixalan came out a few days after that, anyhow. Not really avoidable, but hopefully not for much longer, as we have a possibility to ban things on December 4th, and I've never felt so strongly about something needing to be banned as this deck right here. So we'll just go through the combo. You usually start with a Geological Appraiser, new card from Ixalan, 4 mana 3/2. When it enters, if you cast it, discover 3, which then you discover 3. There's only 2 spells that you can discover into here: Glasspool Mimic, which will copy the Appraiser and do it again, or Eldritch Evolution, which you can then sacrifice your Geological Appraiser, go get a creature with mana value X+2, where X is 4, so you can get a 6-drop. Then you will go get your Trumpeting Carnosaur, which then is a 7/6 trample. Also from Ixalan, enters the battlefield, discover 5, which can then keep casting other different clone effects and more appraisers, and then you get a bunch of power onto the board, copying your Carnosaurs and appraisers, and then you use your final Eldritch Evolution to go get a Doomskar Titan, which is also 6 mana, to give all your creatures +1/+0 and haste until end of turn, and then attempt to swing for lethal. And the combo is very, very consistent if you get it down. It is also very easy to interact with, which is having some strange impacts on the format. Right, so you can cut down this 3/2, and then the combo won't happen. You can Doomblade it, you can counter it, whatever. You can have a negate up for Eldritch Evolution, and they might get a couple 3/2s, but then the combo is not really going to go very far. But this does work very consistently on turn 3, because you can discard these big spells here on turn 2 to make a treasure token, and then cast your Appraiser. And it is then just a basically 1-card combo that will then do the whole thing. You don't have to draw any cards other than the Appraiser. Alternatively, casting the Carnosaur will also make the combo go off. So very, very consistent, very disgusting, honestly. Backup plan, since we have all these big spells we're discarding anyway to make the combo happen faster. We've got some Torrential Gearhulk, which helps if your opponent's holding up interaction and stuff like that. You can flash this in on their end step, cast your big spell, get advantage that way, and if they interact with that, maybe they can't interact with your main combo plan. Of course, that does have pretty significant deck building restrictions, as we can't have any cards that cost 5 or less that aren't part of the combo. So this version's not playing much interaction at all. There are some that play a bit more and cut the Gearhulks, for example. You might not need quite as many clone effects as this version has. You can get away with 3 Eldritch Evolutions, but 4 makes the combo a bit more consistent. So for interaction, we just have Colossal Skyturtle, which can channel to bounce something. We have Bedeck, which is the best one to have in the mirror. Basically 2 mana to give something +3/-3 until end of turn. Also stops aggro from beating you down. You can also discard the Carnosaur to deal 3 damage to something if you need that. We also have Repudiate, Replicate here, which is a pretty cool one, honestly. So one side, 2 mana, counter an activated or triggered ability. Go to the mirror, can counter the Discover 3 off of the Appraiser. And the other side also creates a copy, so it works with the combo as well. Otherwise, we've got a bunch of lands because we don't want to miss land drops. A lot of the time we do want to get up to 6 mana to cast Carnosaur and Gearhulk and not use our treasures, because we still need mana up for interaction, especially in the mirror or things like that. So there's 24 lands plus 4 Glasspool Mimics in this version. We have some Mirrex, which is good against control decks, which is pretty terrible for this deck, right? If they're playing like 8 counter spells plus in their deck, plus removal spells, this deck's going to have a very hard time trying to do the actual combo, but a lot of the time they can't really beat a Mirrex or 2 on board, plus all of the things we're also trying to do. But yeah, this means that decks that don't either win consistently on turn 3 or play good removal/interaction of some sort for this combo have basically been pushed out of the format. It's much more powerful than Greasefang, as you only need to find the 1 card. You don't need to put a vehicle in your graveyard and then find this. So Greasefang being the closest analog for a turn 3 combo just doesn't actually win the game when you Greasefang on turn 3. You can attack for 13, but then your opponent can untap and cast a sweeper or something like that. They can gain life if they're playing Angels and just go over the top of it. They can put Cavaliers of Thorns into play to block your Angelic Onslaught. But this one, no deck in the format really can go over the top of this in a reasonable time span, right? By turn 4, if you combo off, you're going to be attacking for 40 plus. There's no deck in the format that can really handle that. They have to be interacting with it. So it's pushed a lot of decks out of the format, which is kind of sad, and the play patterns are not very fun, right? It's just waiting around until you can get it through whatever interaction your opponent is holding up, and then the combo goes off and you win. There's no, exciting randomness to the combo. It's very rare that you whiff, which happens by finding all 4 Eldritch Evolutions before you have enough power to swing for lethal with a Doomskar Titan, or drawing both of your Doomskar Titans, which is also not super likely. But yeah, this deck is gross. We've got Clever Impersonator instead of another 3-mana clone, which is a little worse for whiffing, but better because you can play this to copy one of your opponent's permanents to keep you alive if you're trying to get up to casting Carnosaur, which is why that choice is there. There's been various other versions. There's the Quintorius version, which copies the Planeswalker to drain life, which is a bit more resilient to removal, but also can't go off on turn 3 because Quintorius costs 5. As for solving this, I think the Quintorius version is fine. The turn 4 combo, I think, is a lot more acceptable in a format like this than the turn 3, because fair aggro decks can reasonably win by turn 4, whereas can't really do that here. Prowess and Auras can win turn 3 sometimes without interaction, but no other deck really can. Yeah, so I think the Appraiser is probably the one that should go, right? This is what gives you the ability to do it on turn 3. Eldritch Evolution is a reasonable card in other places. Can't deal with all the clone effects. There's dozens of them. So anyway, that's the deck. Let's go see what happens. And at this point, everyone in the format is ready for it because it's been everywhere for 2 weeks now. So we'll see how this goes. Very unlikely anyone actually lets us play through the combo, in which case I'll go against Sparky just to demonstrate it. But yeah, that's the deck. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, we don't have the acceleration for turn 3, but we've got... we need another red source too. We have 3 lands, plenty of interaction, and an Appraiser. I think we can take this. Notably, Karuga is free in this deck, of course, because we're not playing anything that costs less than 3, but I think giving your opponent the information that you're playing this deck is worth more, honestly, than having Karuga, right? That means your opponent can get their hand ready to interact with your combo. I don't need to channel my Carnosaur here. Whereas actually attacking with the 5/4 does not really win many games in a deck like this. Another Virus Beetle. Discard Otawara. That's the Impersonator. It's possible they have a cut down. No, they're just dead. Cool. Now we'll discard Otawara. Cute discard deck opponent. Here's the Appraiser. Here's the Evolution. Go get a dinosaur. Come on. There we go. Yep, and opponent knows what's up. They are very dead from this point. Okay, we don't have an Appraiser, so we'll send this back looking for one. If we had some acceleration, I might keep this on the Carnosaur, but no acceleration, no interaction. Not really good enough to keep a Carnosaur hand. Also, every Eldritch Evolution in the opening hand increases your chance of breaking the combo, which of course we don't want. So this Gearhulk, let me go for one more here. Alright, we'll keep this, drop the evolutions. Opponent's on mono red. If we don't draw our combo pieces, pretty good chance they beat us down. On the play, there's even a good chance they beat us down by turn 4. Guess we can... No, we don't have double blue, so we can't actually repudiate the Mana flipping. So we'll just play Sokenzan and discard one of the spells here. Take 5. Tap land go. They are holding up the interaction, as was mentioned. We don't find it, we also don't find a land. So even if we draw a Carnosaur off the top next turn, we can't play it and win the game. Which is a little bit rough. Down to 7. Do it again. Also can't find a Gearhulk here. We can play Impersonator as a 2-2, which is almost certainly not good enough. Guess we'll keep going until we're dead. Are we exactly dead if we play this as a 2-2? It blocks the Bugbear, and yeah, we'll play it out, whatever. They certainly have interaction. They don't use it though, interesting. Just have lethal through it, possibly. Probably should have blocked the Swift Spear, but it doesn't look like it matters. Maybe it did, but very strong chance they have something in their hand that deals 1 more damage. Yeah, we can keep that. The Carnosaur for some interaction. Need any land for Appraiser on 4. Mono red aggro being one of the more traditional aggro decks that survives the Appraiser, as they get to play all those burn spells anyway that interact pretty reasonably. If you can cast a Carnosaur against them, you're still in pretty good shape, but most hands will not have a Carnosaur down before they get you. Opponent's on some reanimation, it seems. Another bit of reunion. Discards another Atraxa, does not find the land. I guess it's possible we'll want to use the Carnosaur here, so we'll leave that option available to us. It might be on like the 3-mana 2/3 that reanimates something. That's new from Ixalan. Okay, they shock in and do nothing. Don't love that. Guess we're not really interacting if they have Atraxa anyway, so we'll go for this. Grizzly Salvage. That probably can't stop me. I guess they could have a shock in hand, but not super likely. Eldritch Evolution. Seems like we've got him. Bitter Reunion holds priority. Carnosaur. Discover. Into Appraiser. Discover. Into a Mimic, which is a Carnosaur. Into an Impersonator, which is a Carnosaur. Now the next Eldritch Evolution will do it for us. Into an Impersonator, which is a Carnosaur. Into a Glasspool Mimic, which is a Carnosaur. Into an Appraiser. Into a Glasspool Mimic, which is a Carnosaur. Into an Eldritch Evolution, which is our remaining Doomskar Titan, which is lethal. Easy enough. Nope. Guess that'll do. Put back the pathway, I suppose. The Mirrex in case they're control. Keep both of these and plan to cast Carnosaur on turn 4. Okay, opponent's doing some Amalia something. No green mana yet though, or we'll just top deck Appraiser. That works too. GG, thanks for playing. Magic is easy. Come on, clicking things is hard. Mimic, copy Carnosaur. And yep, opponent sees enough. Carnosaur without any acceleration or interaction, we will mulligan. Carnosaur with acceleration and interaction, this one I think we'll keep. Dumping Outburst. Hardened Scales. On-summon effects are usually pretty good against those. Drawing a land is nice. Second Hardened Scales. Yeah, shock in, whatever. Third Hardened Scales. Now you have to play creatures eventually, right? Alright. 1/1 Pellet Collector, no counters though, that's fine. Play this on blue, I guess. And we'll pass. Botanical Brawler. So it turns Pellet Collector into a 5/5 and Botanical Brawler into a 9/9. Nice replacement effects. We're just taking the damage, hoping to top deck the land here. If we don't, we can Skyturtle something. Alright. Don't find the land, which is rough. And I think we have to... We could have a trick, which would be devastating. Guess we'll channel this now then. So now when it enters, its power shouldn't be greater. Yeah, so they don't get more counters on their Pellet Collector. Untapped land? Tapped land, rough. Well, seems like they got us. I guess we can Bedeck and channel the Carnosaur to kill the Botanical Brawler, which will keep us alive for a turn. So I'll go ahead and do that. Triumph coming back to bite me. Maybe it should just be Mana Confluence. Oh, now its power is greater though, so we're dead. Oh, how'd that power get greater? Oh, because of the Bedeck makes its power greater, yeah. Unintended consequences. Triumph's out for Mana Confluence. This hand is very good. Opponent's on Gigantha, which could be just about anything nowadays. Forest to commune with spirits. Some enchantments, perhaps. Rockfall Veil. Mountain Hajar, oh, they're Bard class, I see. They are also dead. Yeah, there's our first concession before anything resolves. See a lot of those with this deck. Yep, this casts Appraiser on turn 3. Siren Storm Tamer, huh? Playing the Glasspool Mimic gives away the game, but most Izzet colored lands that don't do anything would do that as well at this point. Opponent's probably playing a bunch of counterspells, which is not great for us. Going to play into it here. We'll try and Otawara the Storm Tamer. Maybe. Maybe not. We definitely don't want to go up our treasure into a counterspell, though. Okay, that resolves. Now we'll Otawara the Breaches before they attack and get value here. They can sacrifice the Storm Tamer if they want to, but that takes their mana. They could have a Spell Pierce here, which would stop the combo. Or I suppose a Fading Hope, but we're going to go for it. Fading Hope means we get to try again. Slip out the back means we don't, but we do get a 4/3. And we can attempt to Eldritch Evolution it next turn. Pay a bunch of life. See how many counter spells they've got. You can pay for a Spell Pierce now. Can't pay for Lofty. It's okay. Can try the Carnosaur next turn. They draw a land. Of course, if this Carnosaur doesn't win, we lose. Very exciting gameplay here. Well, we got another counterspell. Or slip out the back. Spectral Sailor. Draw a card. Counterspell. You got it. A bit lucky for our opponent there, it seems like, but they are playing a deck that is certainly prepared for us, having lots and lots of counterspells and slip out the back. I think we can do better here. It's a Carnosaur, a bunch of lands. We'll try this. Don't currently have any spells for the Gearhulk, but there are 8 of them. There's our opponent here. Great time to like the video if you haven't already. Shocks and Esteem Vents, sure. Perhaps a Spell Pierce Gamer. Maybe they have Fiery Impulse is the only other thing that would pass priority instantly there. That sees regular play. Which if they're like actual Izzet Control, then Mirrex might be good. No, they're on Pirates as well, huh? Might have to try and kill that with the Carnosaur. Inti, huh? All sorts of dorky 2-drops from the new set here. Discards a Ledger Shredder, a more classical dorky 2-drop. And they loot off Malcolm. Exile another card. They can't play. Find a land, sure. Oh, we're Carnosauring something here. Not quite sure what yet. I guess Inti's kind of cute with our discard card stuff, so we'll try and copy Inti. To Tidebinder to counter the ability, that's rough. Yep, very interactive, aggressive Izzet decks. Probably the worst possible matchup for us. But you can certainly see how the format has warped against this deck. Consider, sure. Bin's another consider. Alright, they are on Fiery Impulse. We could still also have Spell Pierce. Unless we draw an Appraiser here uncontested, I think we're done for. Shark Typhoon is pretty strange in their deck. I guess it's a flash threat. And yep, we're done. Opponent's on Karuga, almost certainly a mirror. This hand is bad. takes a mulligan, 1000% a mirror. This hand is fine. Put back the Gearhulk, I suppose. Getting all the lands is fairly important, especially if you have the interaction. We are on the draw, so if they have the treasure into Appraiser, we're probably losing. Okay, there's our treasure. They do not go for it on turn 3. Buys Garuga. Okay, GG. Guess opponent doesn't have any interaction in their hands. Or they don't think this is the mirror for some reason. Bit rare to win this one on the draw. Guess they're gonna make us show them the win. Carnosaur. Impersonator is a Carnosaur. Glasspool Mimic is a Carnosaur. Replicate is a Carnosaur. And Eldritch Evolution is lethal. Can I hit the attack button this time? I can. And we got him. An exciting format. Yeah, another reason not to play Garuga, just the temptation of buying it will lose you some games. If the opponent bluffed some interaction there, I think they would have had a better chance of winning. This is a mulligan. This is also a mulligan, no combo piece. This will keep. Just need a land. We'll drop those two. Okay, opponent's on mono red. Let's see if they have mono red removal. We draw the land, so we are en route for our combo. They have a Scamp deck, so they might just kill us on turn 3. Actually, there's a pretty good chance they just kill us on turn 3. We'll bluff some interaction though. I don't have the third land. I think it's enough. Yeah. They have another 3 damage spell. Yeah. We didn't have to shock lands. We would have won this one, but I think having the green available to hardcast the tutor is worth it. Yeah, Scamp deck's pretty cool too. I made a video on that one a while back. Yep. Snap keep. Factor. That's rude. Our first hate piece of the day. That stops our whole combo. So now we wait until we find interaction for it. Or somehow get to cast Creative Outburst. All of the Discover triggers are ETBs. I meant to discard there. Whatever. I can discard both of them here. When it plays Impulse, probably Lotus Control then. Yep, there's the Lotus Field. So we can theoretically cast Creative Outburst here. Which I guess we will attempt to do on there instead. Another Lotus Field, rough. Maybe we should have gone for it on our turn. Discontinuity. Tragic. Definitely should have gone for it on our turn. Yeah, we're gonna call it there. Again, mirror. See if we can somehow pull another one of these on the draw. That'll do. Put back the evolution. We have Repudiate to interact with their Appraiser if they get one down before us. We do need another red source, though. The opponent took 2 mulligans. Indeed. Opponent, you're playing a toxic deck, at least make it quick. Thank you. There's another red source. To make sure we play... I guess either one works here. No need to shock. I guess there's some value to holding the Otawara. We might possibly want that for interaction later on. But I think Otawara encourages them to go for it more than Shocking and Stomping Ground would. Repudiate. Resolve. Hopefully they don't have Eldritch Evolution or land second Appraiser. Mimic. That will also do it. Yeah, that's how being on the draw in this match usually goes. Even if you have one piece of interaction, they still get a chance to follow up before you do. I'm sure we'll try a fair Gearhulk hand here. Probably Sacrifice with Giganta and a Rakdos land. Thoughtseize takes my Gearhulk almost certainly. Yep, any piece of interaction takes this deck apart. Targeted discard, any removal spell, hate piece. Sure. Go ahead and discard this. I don't need to be like any more than the minimum amount of priority here. Doomskar Titan, not really what I was looking for. Might just play that as a 6-mana 4/4 next turn, though. Rakdos usually plays Claim the Firstborn and Fatal Push, which do not hit the 6-mana creature. Fable, sure. Or we'll top deck Carnosaur. That works too. Nice knowing you. I top decked one card. It doesn't matter what other cards are in my hand. I win the game. Yep. Opponent's gonna make us click through it, holding priority with their Witch's Oven all the while, of course. If you just want to see if your opponent has the win con, you can left shift enter to completely pass priority on Arena. Fun tip. Evolution. Or you can just tap your Witch's Oven, that works too. Let's see, I have another Eldritch Evolution, right? Yeah, plenty. So we'll go get the other Carnosaur. If we run out of Carnosaurs, we can just get clones with Eldritch Evolution. Let's see, that's enough though. 8 times 4 through 2 toughness. Here's a Doomskar Titan. And opponent sees that we do not have all our Doomskar Titans in hand. That's why we play 2 of them, and they lose. And we are back when 6 and 7, which is not super impressive, but as I mentioned in the intro, this deck has been taking over the format for 2 weeks or so now, so everyone that's left is playing a deck that is reasonably favored into it. You're not seeing things like Greasefang or Mono Green Devotion or any deck that does not have good answers to this deck, right? We're losing to interaction or the mirror going faster than we are, or an actual hate pieces in terms of, in the case of that Strict Proctor, which is just not healthy for the format, and this deck is incredibly boring to play. It's not very interesting to play against. You're just basically waiting for it to get down, and then the game's over, and there's not that much interaction in the more optimal versions, unless you're being... if you're teching against the mirror a lot, then you get a bit more interaction, and sometimes even some interesting games, but then that's really bad for the format, right? That's worse than having it be all in and just you have a little bit of interaction to survive sometimes. We didn't see the Gearhulks really do much. Maybe it's better to just play interactive spells instead to stop the aggro decks from beating you down, right? We did lose to, what was it? The Scamp deck and the Hardened Scales deck because we didn't have enough interaction to get to our stuff. But Gearhulk is better if you're in a sort of grindy matchup that's going to use removal spells when you go for your win cons and not win the game against you terribly quickly, which I saw more when I was testing with this deck, but not too much today. But really wish this would go away. I would like sorcery speed, mid-range, and control decks to be on the menu again. Even like other sorcery speed combo decks to be playable, right? Like, wouldn't think we'd be wishing for Mono Green back, but it generates a lot more interesting games of Magic than this one does, I think. Don't go spending your wild cards on Repudiate and Bedeck, which are probably the better interactive spells, but they are very bad if this deck does not exist, and Wizards, please get this out of the format on Monday. Thank you very much. Let me know what you think of this deck and the format on the whole. It's just very... You get there, you don't. There's just a lot of matches feel like there's very little agency with this deck, even less so than other combos, right? It's not a difficult-to-play combo. There's no manipulating the odds in your deck, right? It's just you hit the Appraiser, you find the Carnosaur, you play it, it survives, whatever, game's over. Yeah, that's it for this week. Thanks for watching.